Hey guys, welcome to my review of the Phantom 3 Advanced. The camera is in 2.7K, comes with a gimbal, which basically stabilizes it. So if you're moving around the controls erratically, there's a lot of wind or anything, if you tilt, the camera will stay perfectly stable. As you can see from the video, the camera is very stabilized. I'm not a professional driver or flyer or anything. Anyone can make something that looks this good with the Phantom 3 Advanced. So the camera that comes with it is 2.7K. The Phantom 3 Professional and the Phantom 4 actually come with a 4K camera, but I find that most people are working with 1080p anyways, so the cost doesn't really warrant the 4K camera. But if you're want to buy the latest and greatest anyways, I would go with that. So I purchased this from the DJI.com official website. I got a discount because the domain name and my email address has purchased, the organization has purchased drones before from Phantom 3, and yeah, so here it comes with a box. The box is very good actually. It actually fits and carry on most major airlines. And here I'm plugging in the controller, simply plug it in and it starts charging. Putting on the propeller is super easy. You just spin it and tighten it. Plug it in the battery, plug it in there, make sure that tab is up before you plug it in, and it starts charging and the light starts flashing. So putting it into the thing itself is very easy. Taking it out, very easy. You just pull on that and put the next one in. You can actually check the battery level without having it plugged in, which is a great feature. Just plop it in, make sure it's fully clipped in so you don't want it flying out during flight, and there you go, it's on. Now here, how you turn it on is you double click, wait till it goes there, and you can hear the auto right here. That means it's on, the gimbal starts moving around and the lights start turning on. So I've censored out because I put my phone number on the top, so if I lose it, anyone can call me. It's very easy to turn it on, connect it to the controller, turn the app on, and there we go. So first you need to calibrate. Every time I fly I actually do this. It recommends though every time you move you should do this, but I do it every flight because I don't want to risk it. So here's the calibration process. Pretty easy. Just spin it around you like that, and then tilt it sideways and do the same thing. It only takes about 15 seconds, so I do this every time I fly just to be on the safe side of things, and it'll tell me if there's any interference with it. So here's the menu. I set the return to home altitude to 50 meters, which is good in the city that I live in. Turn on beginner mode if you are a beginner, obviously. Distance limit, also that's a good idea. And then here's the more advanced settings of the sensors. I actually have the vision positioning system off because it makes a noise, and over water it can lead to the drone actually just crashing in the water, and I fly over water a lot, so I turn that off. So here's the remote controller settings. I have camera forward, down, it spins fast and up, and battery info. So here are the channels for the just leave this on auto, you don't need to worry about it. Here's the battery life. My low battery set to 25%. I would set it a bit higher if you fly really far. Critical battle warning, the minimum is 10%, and I'll let you know what happens there later. Discharge, it'll automatically discharge the batteries for storage after 10 days. Here's the gimbal settings. If you want to change it to FPV mode, which doesn't make it as smooth, you can change the gimbal tilt settings, tilt speed, tilt limits, all of that. I just have that like that. And then the general settings right here, you can turn off and on. By default, the settings are all pretty good, and there's not really a need to change them. So here I'm going to take off. You just slide to take off. There's a thing that you have to check. I'm actually within 10 kilometers in the airport, so I have to authorize myself, and in any other special zones this will happen as well. So flying is very easy. Up and down is just up, left and right is left, like that. You can see spinning around. Here I'm agreeing to the terms and conditions, and then it spins around like that, as you can see on the top right. Very easy to fly, very smooth footage, as you can see, and relatively no effort going into this. I'm not even checking the full altitude. So here's what I have the fast gimbal setting to. I click the button at the bottom of the remote, and the gimbal goes up and down really quickly, as you can see. So here's quite loud actually. The thing is quite loud. You can see from here the altitude goes up quite high and goes down not as fast. So here it's going, it goes quite fast, as you can see. from here. Bring it backwards. I don't think it's as fast. Maybe it is, but you can follow some pretty fast cars. This Phantom 3 Advanced almost goes to about 40 kilometers an hour. So here you can get shots like this. Like if the cars going like that, you can film it from the side, or from the fast, and then here's it coming back sideways. As you can see, the gimbal is making it so it's completely stable, and you wouldn't see any vibration or jerking around with that. So here it's up in the air. I'm currently recording right now, as you can see. I'm going to bring up the map mode right here. The map basically, you can see the camera also in the top bottom left. The map's normally there, but it's switched around. You can see exactly the lines that you've been flying in. I'm going to zoom in just a sec to show you in more detail the lines. See right here, you can see the lines that you've actually flown in, and the orange line signifies the direction that you have to go back to yourself. So if you can't actually see the drone and you don't know what the orientation is based on the camera, you can actually just point until it's pointing back at you and following the orange line back to you. And the H signifies the home point, and if you have a GPS enabled phone, the blue dot with the white outline actually shows where the phone is right now. So if you move locations, you can reset the home, and then the new orange thing, the orange line, will come back to you. So yeah. So here I'm going to bring up the video menu. You can set the video quality. I just set it on. I have a 64 gigabyte SD card, so I can film at 30 FPS at 2.7K. I use MP4 because I use Windows. White balance, you can change around the style. You can fine tune this to get the perfect picture. Right here, I don't know much about how to use this picture, and it's hard to manage the color from your iPhone because the quality is not very good. It's not the real time. It's not the real output. So it's kind of hard to see the smaller details, but you can purchase the DJI Light Bridge downlink, so you can hook it up to a professional monitor to modify the color styles while you're flying. So right here, I'm going to bring up the style. The color. So these, I find they're all look a bit artificial once I viewed it on my monitor. From here, you can't really get a good idea of what the color actually is. But these, you can all apply these settings in post, and there's no reason to mess up your thing there. So there's my quality. Now I'm going to go to the settings. You can turn on some more features. I have the file index mode on continuous, or else whenever you export files, the file number will go back to 1. So I have the overexposure warning. I just turned that on. You'll see if it affects soon. So the photo, you can set the photo mode. Image ratio 69 is pretty standard. JPEG and RAW if you're going to be making professional photos. Otherwise, JPEG is fine just for general use or uploading to image sharing sites. Style like before, just for the photos this time. Same thing with the colors. So yeah. Now here's the manual color mode. So this is the zebra thing. So if the exposure is way too high, your zebra effect will cover the whole screen. It's basically saying all the locations that are just white, and it can't distinguish the color between them. So you can mess around with the shutter speed and the ISO and whatnot, and use the zebra mode to figure out if there's any color problems in there. So if you set the shutter speed way too low, way too high, it'll change. And with manual, you can change the right thing. So the exposure is on the right side of the remote. You can see I've been spinning it around right here. Exposure is basically just, I usually have it on 0 to 1. Any more than that, it's too bright, and any less than that, it's too dark. And but I just have the mode on auto. So right now I'm gonna turn land the aircraft. Quite easy. Just there's a button on the remote which says return to home, which will land if you're close enough. So it's landing. Pretty simple. It'll land. I'll bring up a video. It lands pretty decent pace. Not too much that it'll cause any damage, but not too little that it'll take forever. So it brings it down. I'm not pressing any buttons or anything. It's just going to land automatically. You can see on the screen, and then it just lands, and the propellers automatically turn off. So here's the return to home feature. I sped this up, so I just flew out, You can spin around the orientation and whatever, and it'll come back. It'll point to you, come back at your desired height, and land. So here I'm going to show you what happens. I disconnect the remote, whatever loses connection. Not touching any buttons. You can see on the screen here what it says. Disconnects, the screen turns gray, and the drone automatically comes back. So this was very useful multiple times because I lost connection. And if this did not have the auto return to home, especially when the controller was disconnected, I would have lost this multiple times. So return to home feature is probably my favorite feature on DJI products, because a lot of the times you're flying quite far away, and you're using only the screen to see what it's pointing at or where you are. And if you fly too far, you lose connection. You won't be able to control it anymore, and since you obviously can't see it, if it's 2 kilometers away, 3 kilometers away, it's just gonna go until the battery runs out, and you're gonna probably lose your drone. So in the cities have more interference, so you'll lose connection a lot of the time. It's coming down right now. You see my hand is still off the remote. It's blinks those light when there's no connection. It'll land. Controller's off, you can see, and landed successfully. So you can just turn it back on and start flying again and start take off again, like I just do right here. So right now you can see I hit the low battery. It'll usually make a noise. I have it under 25%, and you can see when I took it off the second time, it set the new home location. So here's the point of interest feature. I'll just speed that up. You can getting into position, you have to set the radius properly, altitude properly. I set the speed to max, 11 seconds it says for 1 lap. Click start. I'll point the camera down a bit. There's a low battery, so it's telling me to come home. So you can see it just confirms your return to home altitude because I'm low battery, and it would hit low battery. It would return to home. So you can see I turn it on, and it's going to automatically spin around. So I'll put the camera down a bit. So this is pretty useful if you're trying to film something, and it does a perfect circle. And you can adjust the speed. There's some controls, so you can increase the radius and whatnot while you're actually flying. And then there's some other things. So this is what happens at critical low battery. Simply at 10%, the aircraft will automatically land no matter where it is. I don't believe you have control over it, and it'll land quite fast, and your airplane will automatically turn off. So thanks for watching this video. Phantom 3 is a very, very, very high quality product, very well designed, no problems with it so far, and I would highly recommend it. The 3 standard to a more budget filmmaker, or the Inspire series, or the Phantom 4 for higher quality. So thank you, remember to subscribe, and see ya.